Welcome to another episode of the Mindful LCA Podcast with Steve and Norma. Apparently, I'm going to be the lead today, which scares me a little bit, but here we are. So today we're talking a little bit about pain. Not the good pain, not the sexy type of pain. But actually is about something deeper today. What happens when we stop running from your pain and finally sit like you would sit with a scared little child who needs you? Um, we want this episode to show you that you're not broken for feeling pain. The pain is human, pain is information, and pain is a message from a younger version of yourself saying, hey, something hurts, something was hurting, has been hurting. Can you sit with me here? So let's go there for a little bit. And like always, you're not alone. We're here for you. Well, let's get into it. How are you, sir?
I've been doing a lot of that. Whatever you just explained, yeah. Uh, Physically, I'm a little bit tired. I got caught up in my sleep, and then I went to my old ways for a little bit, so I still need to kind of go there and nap. Um, Emotionally, yeah, I'm still working on what you just said. Still regulating nervous system, working on catastrophizing or not catastrophizing, and trying to develop a more positive mindset. Working on acceptance, all the good stuff. Life threw a nice review at me. It was like, hey, you think you got it? Nah, hold up. You still got all this shit to deal with. And but it's been amazing. I've like I don't want to repeat myself because I think I did it the last intro, but leaning on people, talking to my wife, just working on myself a lot and being like, hey, thoughts are thoughts, the triggers, understanding and labeling it thoughts, labeling it catastrophizing and all those things, and going into
Yeah.
the detail also has been very helpful. But yeah, I mean, I feel a lot better than I did. I'll tell you that much. I just had
Good.
a I just had a conversation because now I'm talking to my wife like pretty much whenever there's something comes up all the time.
Yeah.
But then I was feeling better, and the last conversation I had with her was like, "Hey, I've been feeling way better. Like I have the triggers, but they don't take like fucking days of like rambling in my head, of like
Mhm.
going over and over. It's just like the trigger is there, and then I'm like, oh, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
good. You know, which
Good.
makes a lot of sense, and I've been feeling a lot better. Yeah.
Awesome. Good.
Hmm.
Um, I'm today I feel gosh, I haven't even checked in with myself. I think I feel nervous. Definitely feel nervous of like leading leading
Hmm.
the episode. And my body is fighting something off for sure. I'm sure you can hear my voice. Yeah. But I don't know, when my body's trying to fight something off, I don't even like saying that I'm like sick. I just say my body's getting rid of something. Um, but I don't let it like no me caigo like I'm not in bed or anything. Like I'm still able to like function, but just I'm a little congested. But other than that, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just nervous. So we'll see. Let's get into this. Um, First of all, like as we've talked about, right? Like for many episodes of the importance of sitting with your shit, sitting with your shit, sitting with your shit. So today we're actually going to talk about like what the fuck does that even mean?
Hmm.
Um, but before we even get into that, we need to talk about like why do we even avoid it, right? So um, when it comes to pain, physical pain, and emotional pain, um, I think people are more willing to feel physical pain than emotional pain, which to me is wild. I don't like physical pain unless it's in the sexy time. But um, we treat emotional pain like it's a motherfucking plague, like it's going to kill us or some shit. Um, so we try to avoid it by staying busy, by distracting, by shutting down, by throwing adult tantrums. But there's a reason for that, right? granted, like when there's physical pain, your body's going to shoot some adrenaline into you so you don't feel it, right? It's a survival mechanism. Your body was meant to survive. So that is it also translates to your nervous system, to emotional pain. Like your brain's like, this feels like too much, so we're just not going to feel it. But that's because nobody had taught us how to be emotionally aligned, how to be actually how to process that pain. So that's one part of it, the biology of like your body is meant to keep you alive, and pain can prevent that. So that's one reason why we avoid it. If we talk about Latino culture, right? We avoid it because if we look back at our history, most of us Latinos come from some type of oppressive system, whether it's religion, whether it's colonizing, from oppressed systems and oppressors. Um, one of the ways they oppressed was with violence, right? So in that survival stage or state, you don't have the luxury to be like, how is my heart today? Right? Like if you're out in the fields, if you are a slave, if you're fighting, all of those things, like your body's not going to allow you to sit in it. So that is another reason why we, as Latino people, because of our history, that is why we avoid it, right? So we've talked about in the past how trauma gets passed down until it becomes culture, right? So then now we have sayings such as si lloras te voy a dar una razón para que llores, aguántate, échale ganas, no es para tanto. Those messages that we have been fed for so long, that now they are part of our culture. We are thinking, and I can't, if I had a penny or a dollar for every time my client had told me, I don't know, I just don't think there's a point of feeling emotions because I don't want to think I'm weak. Damn it. All the time. All the time. We've learned to classify pain or emotions as weakness, so then we avoid it as much as we can. We're considered dramatic. That was my nickname when I was little. It was the dramatic girl. So so either we've learned to shut those things down, or and then we've talked about like avoidant attachment style and we go that way, or we've learned to just meet it with anger, a lot of anger, and anxious attachment style comes into play. Go watch our episode on attachment styles. So it makes sense that because of those things, we then, when we tell you like, hey, we got to sit in your pain, that's almost like walking into a dark room without any fucking light, like no flashlight. And like, I don't know what's in it. Like, I know I can maybe like remember, but back in the day when I sat with that, it wasn't pretty. So like, I don't want to go back there, and no flashlight, like hell no. So when we say what sitting with pain actually means, when I tell it to clients like, hey, we need to sit with your pain, most of the time one of the first questions that I get is like, but what's the point? I was there already. I went through that. Like, why am I gonna just go back and feel that pain for nothing? And I want to make sure that I clear this up, that it's not just like wallowing in the pain. We're not gonna be like, okay, let me just be in pain all the time, and not do anything with it. But we also don't want it to just be like this what is that, the toxic positivity where we're like, no, let's every like that happened, like let's let it go, and now let's just all be like jolly and happy. It's it's not one or the other. We don't want to go to extremes either, where it has to be, we're like, I am just sitting in pain, sitting in pain, sitting in pain constantly without transmuting it, without doing anything with it. But it's not just ignoring it, just be like, everything's good. It already happened. So let me just like move on with that.
Yeah.
Um, Sitting with them, and maybe you and I can talk about my dog is like
Mhm.
follow.
Can I interrupt you for a little bit and kind of tell you how I would answer that to somebody talking to me about what the point is?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
My mind would have been like, because that pain has shaped you in your behavior and your thought patterns. The pain right there, unless you didn't process it properly and you haven't healed from it, that pain still existing has literally changed who you are to a certain degree, and how you think, how you see the world is connected directly to the pain that we haven't healed from. So it's not about necessarily going, like you said, and sitting with the pain. It's going over there and how do we create new thought patterns? How do we heal from it so that that pain no longer shapes, no longer affects certain behaviors or certain thought patterns that you have that make you see things a certain way that is probably not the healthiest, you know? Like that's what my mind would have gone to explain why it important that we go back. It's not where we're going back to sit there, it's we're going back to see and be curious about how we process that pain, and see if that was the healthiest way to process it, or if we even allowed ourselves to feel it and actually process the pain itself, you know. Oh, I lost you.
Yeah, I lost you. I
Give me
lost you.
1 second, we'll be right back. Oh, there you go, are you back?
Yeah, I'm
Okay, I
here.
lost you for a second. So yeah, that's how I would have, that's how I would, I think I would have processed, or I would have answered that question to somebody telling me why do I need to go back into shit that's already in the past.
Yes. And um I've I've said that to clients, and I think a lot of like the comebacks from that, or so the pushback is um like they can acknowledge that this is what brought us here, right? Like the like yeah, I agree with you that this is how I see the world and all of those things, but it is what it is. Like I can't go back and change that. So a lot of people just dwell on this idea of um if we go back, if we do inner child work, if we do some trauma work, um they can't even fathom what that's even possible, because they are so stuck in this happened already, this is how things have been, and I cannot change the past, which is true. We can't change the past. We can't change the fact of what the actual situation that happened, right? And what I offer them is, but and we can change what happened to you. What we can change at a neurological level is how your body process that.
Mhm.
I want to stress that a lot, because and studies have shown, right? Right now I'm reading a book called in Spanish it's called Este dolor no es mío, and in English it's called It Didn't Start With You. So the biology of it, epigenetics, how transgenerational trauma gets actually like passed down through our DNA. So so with that being said, trauma, pain, it actually stays within our body. So you think that like, yes, it's in the past, yeah, it happened, I can't do anything about it, but it lives still within your DNA. And not until we address it and we transmute it, we process it, then things are not going to change. And because pain lives with us, it mutates, right? Then okay, maybe that situation of my sexual assault, right? Like, and I'm not talking about like mine specifically, but just in general as a person. Um, yes, I was sexually assaulted when I was younger, but it is what it is. It does, like, I can't do anything about it. I can't go back and change it. But then now that looks like I can't have sex with people anymore, or the opposite, where I am hypersexual, and that is the only way that I connect or get worth as a person, right? So yeah, it is what it is. You got sexually assaulted, but now the patterns that you have as an adult, that's how it's showing up. I can't be sexual, or I'm too sexual. Um, how I relate to sexuality because of that, right? Like your body's still acting like that. If you were a kiddo that was sent to your room and sexual assault is more of a complex trauma, whereas the not complex trauma, like one big traumatic event. Whereas if you're a kiddo that maybe wasn't abused, you didn't have anything catastrophic happen to you, but every day that you would have any emotion, you would get sent to your room and be left alone and not connect with anybody when emotion happened, and that was your life, then it's very likely that people like that are going to have anxiety, are going to have depression, are going to be overthinking. They're going to feel rejected even before somebody says hi to them, right?
Mm.
So it is what it is. It happened, but it's still showing up in your body
Mm.
every day.
Yeah, it still affects you.
Yes,
Yeah,
100%. This idea
yeah,
too of like hyper independence, right? Of
yeah,
I'm fine, I don't need anybody, I got it. But that how that also is really rooted in that lack of connection of like, oh my God, how much pain have you had to endure to the point where you think that you cannot depend on anybody?
yeah,
That you
yeah,
build this delusion
yeah.
or illusion that you can do it by yourself. But
Hmm.
you do, babe. We all do.
Yeah. I mean, it's a perfect example of what is going on here, and maybe we can jump into like what I just said in the intro and what you did for me, right? Um, in those comments of that, I'll share that part of it. So all my life, I've been used to being alone for the reasons that you already explained, right? One of my parents was emotionally unavailable. The other one was had too much dealing with themselves to pay attention to cater to me emotionally. So then I developed this idea of like, oh, just by yourself, handle it. You know, handle it by yourself. So then this is happening and this is happening throughout my life, and I become more aware over the last couple of years, and I'm like, oh shit, this and that, but not really paying attention to it, kind of knowing, but not really focusing on what was happening and why I was doing these things. And then it all made sense to me when you said, hey, like, you gotta fucking let us in so that well, I don't know if you said this, but you gotta say, hey, you gotta let us know, you gotta let us in, you gotta trust, you gotta do that so that you can change those way of thinking. And my mind instantly fucking clicked. I was like, yeah, neuroplasticity, stupid. The only way
Yeah.
you're gonna change and understand that you are not meant to be alone. You are not to be sitting here processing everything on your own with your own thoughts and overthinking and everything, is by you then now starting to change the way you feel and the way you think and the way you process that, and
Mm-hmm.
start to reaching out to people. But for that, I had to go back and go to the pain of holy shit. I still haven't fully, I think I have got a good idea now and I open up my mind to it a lot, but I did suffer a lot from going back to the pain and being like, holy shit, I must have been like stupidly emotionally alone. Like
Yeah.
I must have been. And then thinking and connecting what I know now and going able to go back to my childhood and going to the pain and sitting there and being like, God damn, like all of this, and this makes complete sense on why I react the way that I react. And
Mm-hmm.
I process all of that. And the coping was, well, no one's there anyway. So fuck it. I'm just going to do that. And
Mm-hmm.
then throughout my life, like you said, I've been doing too much. You're overthinking it, you're over analytical, you're overreacting to shit, you're over this and that. So then it's again, no one's putting this shit. No one's making me feel better. So again, I'm misunderstood and I'm the bad one, I'm the shit. So I'm just not gonna say anything because that is what I used to make sense of my pain then, you know.
Mhm.
Another tiny thing that I think is gonna be very helpful to the conversation that I do with my daughter. As a matter of fact, I just did it today. She was talking about buying some video games. And I was like, no, you shouldn't get them on your phone, especially just when they're uh, as- uh, cosmetic things. They're not even going to help you win the game or anything. And you just want one after another. Why don't you look at other video games that we have, like on the PlayStation or on the Switch, that will be able to actually, you know, you're able to spend more time and you're able to play those things. And I was like, oh, there's Minecraft. But you didn't play Minecraft when you were little because you were afraid of the spider. I was like, are you afraid of the spider now? She's like, no, you know. So that is and in other instances when it comes to like shots, I've also told her like, hey, you're afraid of the shots that you're gonna get, but remember the shots that you got when you were 3 years old, your pain tolerance and whatever you thought it was like nothing. And to you, it was the biggest thing in the world. It was the painful and the worst possible shit in the world for you to experience when you were 3 years old. You're 8 now. Are they gonna hurt? Yes. But if you pay attention to the pain that it's going to give you at 8 years old, it's going to be nowhere near as the pain that it gave you at 3 years old. So let's go. And I'll walk there with you. I'll hold your hand. I'll do the thing so you can go through that pain again and you get the shot and you're like, oh, yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought back then. But it's revisiting the pain again with this version of who you are now to then
Mhm.
be able to be like, oh, yeah, that's right. Like it's not as bad as I thought. Or like I tell her with food too. No, I don't want to try this food. I already had it. I don't like it. I was like, yeah, this you tried it a few years ago. You're always changing and growing. How don't we give yourself an opportunity to have a new experience to see if you like it now? If you don't like it, it's fine. But it's a way more basic example of like, let's go back and revisit what you think to see if you still feel the same way, or to give the body a new way to process, to give it new information through that pain or that decision that you made or the whatever happened to you in the past to see if you still feel the same about it so that you're not forever have a needle phobia or you forever hate sushi or you forever fucking do that, you know. It's just like let's go back and see how if you want to give it a shot again and see how you feel going forward.
100%. 100%. Um, I think the difference between what you're talking about with your daughter and adults that are living in pain
Hmm.
is that they didn't have that adult like you
Yes.
are being with your daughter,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So the fact that you're talking her through it, like you're being her prefrontal cortex, you're being her upstairs brain, adult brain, logical brain. So you doing that is helping her form hers. Um, and that is what builds, I feel like all of the episodes that we've talked about are like coming together right now. Um, the whole brain child strategies that we've talked about, right? Of like how you as an adult, you help them build their prefrontal cortex or their upstairs brain. By you showing up for her, that is exactly what you're doing. You are giving her the tools to be emotionally intelligent, to be able to sit with uncomfortable emotions and
Hmm.
face fears that maybe such as shots when she was 3 years old wasn't able to, but now because she's older and she has an adult to help her sit with that pain, then we are not creating long lasting pain.
Hmm.
However, most of the adults now that don't actually sit with their pain, they still don't have that adult. They might be adult themselves, but they don't have the tools or another nervous system to be sitting with them to help them get through that pain, which then like if we go back to the dark room and the flashlight, you are being the flashlight for your daughter.
Hmm.
Those adults still don't have that flashlight.
Yeah.
One client specifically, they talk about how they have a storage room and a lot of files in there. And whenever something painful happens, we put the file in there. We don't address it ever again. We just
Yeah.
stash it away in the storage and we don't go back to it. So, and even now I'm like, hey, let's go back to the storage. And they're like, no, we're not. We're not going to go to the storage. Right. And I'm still in the process of trying to get them to get to the storage room. Like, I know that we need to, but they're like, they can't, even them being an adult now, they can't even fathom going to that storage because they, even though I'm like, here's a flashlight, like there is a part that they don't trust, that I don't know. I haven't been able to pinpoint it. I'm struggling with that, but we're going to continue to try. But just to show you that even as us being adults, we are probably going to need a bigger, wiser other, like a therapist, like a safe person, a companion, coach, whatever the case may be, spiritual healer, to help us go back and be that flashlight for us. So this and I know I'm super biased here, so I want to acknowledge that, but I know there are a lot of therapy modalities where they're like, we're not even going to talk about your past, we're just going to focus on the here and now and how to move on from there. But I genuinely believe that because of how we were raised, how we grew up, the biology of it, that it is super important that we go back to that deeper place, to the inner child, that in moments of distress, they were left alone with those big emotions.
Yes, 100%. Let me say something here real quick. You're 100% right, because that's what's happening to me. When the first time I went to therapy, and everything that I learned was cognitive behavioral therapy, which I think is amazing as an introduction of how your brain and your body and your nervous system works, and what are thoughts and what are reality versus not, how thoughts, behaviors, and what's the other one? Thoughts, behaviors, and emotions work and all that. And it helped me tremendously. Like, it fucking took a while, but it helped me tremendously. What I'm going through now, it's much more in debt. It's much more having to go back to the childhood, like I told you, is having to understand, is having to grieve what wasn't there, and making sense of it, and learning how to, like I said, regulate nervous system, how to show up for myself when I'm scared, how to tell myself like, hey, it's okay, I'm here for you, and all those things. Which I'm still super uncomfortable, by the way, like feeling scared, or like feeling any kind of sickness physically or whatever. My mind is like, la puta madre, the fucking world is ending. Any little shit, my inner child just like gets super fucking, little Debo gets super, super fucking scared of shit. And that's what I'm working on. And that is actually now putting together the introduction and how it works, but also going more in depth and doing what you're talking about, which the actual healing part. Yes, it's super important to know how everything works, but then we got to put in the work. And I think life has been like, hey, motherfucker, you know how everything works, but let's continue. Like here's a big ass challenge. Here's some set of things that are happening in your life all at once, where you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
There's no escaping it. There's no just like, okay, this is what's happening. Like, no, let's put in the fucking work and let's go figure that out. So yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like, yeah, like a lot of, again, a lot of the pain that we're feeling today, is, it usually stems from something that happened in childhood. So
Mhm.
it's definitely that kiddo that had no support, that was left alone, that didn't have a safe space, a safe adult, a flashlight, right? That So that's literally the way that we need to go about it. Healing happens when we take that kiddo by the hand. We take them to that dark room, and we have the flashlight like here. That is, going through that doorway is what's going to be able to provide some of that healing, and just being with them in that. right? Like a lot of things is not even because we don't fix it, but a lot of it is just sitting there with them, of allowing the pain to actually come, right? Um, trigger warning, I'm going to use a little bit of maybe a guided meditation, not meditation so much, but just giving you an idea of for those of you listening, and if you're driving, if you're doing something, and maybe this is a place where you pause, but like imagining your younger version of yourself. And it doesn't have to be something that was super painful. We don't have to go to the most painful thing. But a time where the younger version of yourself needed somebody that was in distress, as if you were in that dark room where maybe you were crying, maybe you were experiencing fear. And while that kid is in distress, then your adult version coming in, seeing him and just shutting the door on them. And just kind of leaving them now there. How difficult is that? And that is when we avoid the pain, that is essentially what we do. Every time we refuse to go back to the pain, it is us shutting that door on that kiddo.
Yeah.
And that sucks. But imagine now instead opening that door, seeing the kiddo crying, distress, begging, yearning for somebody to show up for them, and not closing that door. And actually going in, giving them a hug, patting their little back, their little head, and telling them, I'm right here. I see you. I love you. You're not alone anymore. I'm going to protect you. I'm sorry for leaving you here for so long. What world of a difference that would make. That's inner child work. That's a corrective emotional experience. And right now I didn't even go deep into it, right? Like it's very, very, very light. But, and I think maybe in an episode, maybe we should, if you allow me, since you put me in uncomfortable situations all the motherfucking time, I'm going to put it back on you and let it be known here while it's been recorded. We should do an episode of just inner child work where I work with your inner child.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm done.
Woo! Anyway, so yeah, that is what inner child work is. But if you're not ready for that, that's okay. That is okay. That doesn't mean that there is no hope. We can still sit with pain that comes about now, whether it's new pain or pain that creeps in from the past. Making it for little simple steps, honestly. 4 to 7 steps. Here it's telling me 7, but anyway. So right now, if you're listening to us while you're driving, if you are, I don't know why you would listen to us in the gym, but maybe you're listening to us at the gym, wherever you are, just paying attention to your body. If there is an emotion that is an uncomfortable emotion that's coming about, then we start by just breathing. Breathing is underrated. Make sure that you breathe from your belly, not from your chest, because many of us, for whatever reason, have lost that ability to do belly breathing and we're chest breathing. So making sure that we're breathing from the belly. You can do different techniques such as box breathing, where you inhale for 4, you hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. You can do 4-7-8, which is inhaling for 4 seconds, holding it for 7 seconds, exhaling. Did I say that right? Yes. Exhale for 8 seconds. Some type of deep breathing. Step number 2, if you're able to identify the emotion in your body, where in my body am I feeling this? I'm feeling anxious. Okay, my chest feels tight. My tummy is turning. My shoulders are tense. And I know it's anxiety. I know it's sadness. I know it's anger. If you can't label the emotion, that's okay. You don't need to. Just identifying where in my body is the sensation. If you are able to identify, that's the second step of identifying the body, labeling the emotion. Fourth step is that nurturing self-talk, the validating inner dialogue of saying, this emotion is okay for me to feel. It's uncomfortable, but it is okay for me to allow this emotion to be. This emotion will pass, because all emotions are temporary. We've talked about it, how they last about 90 seconds in our body. So I allow this emotion to go whenever it's ready. I don't want to run away from it. I allow my chest to get lighter, to not be so tight, to loosen up. Maybe this anxiety is because I feel rejected, I feel scared, I was hurt, I feel alone. Naming those things. And once you have done that, you've been breathing, you've identified in your body, you've labeled it, and you've told yourself, it is okay for me to feel this. I'm here for myself. I am safe. Then you can even take it a step further and ask, when have I felt like this in the past? And if that feels like too much, that's okay. We don't need to. But it's probably an emotion that is already familiar to you. But once you notice a shift of maybe the chest isn't as tight, maybe the shoulders aren't as tense, the tummy isn't turning as much, then you can then bring in the distraction, right? Because if we don't, then we get looped into these overthinking. So we also need to teach the body how to, like, okay, we've felt this, we've processed it, now we can do something else. We don't need to be stuck in that. Also, again, if you want to take it deeper, then you can start asking, connecting to your inner child. When have I felt this before? Why does this feel so scary? How old were we when we first felt this? What's the memory attached to it? If that feels too much, that's okay. But the part of validating, like whatever it is, whether this is something new, something that has been there for a long time, it is okay for me to feel whatever it is that I'm feeling. Rub your chest. That is a very, very good soothing technique. And yeah, again, the part of offering comfort, telling yourself, I allow myself to feel this. It is safe for me to feel this. I don't have to run away from it anymore. I'm an adult. I'm
Yeah.
not that kiddo anymore. But that is how we process emotion. That is how we sit with your pain,
Yeah.
and that
100%.
is present. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what I've been doing. Using my own knowledge of shit, and you putting it as the steps and showcasing that. Is like, yeah, that's exactly what I've been doing. You know,
Mhm.
whenever those fears are coming up or those triggers happen, and I'm like, before, I feel like it would just run like a fucking, just take the fuck off, and then just run crazy. And then I'm like, lately, a lot of the times it's like, wait, what the fuck is happening? Let's wait. Like, what is actually here? What the fuck is happening? And then it's still like tense, and still like, because now I'm like, okay, I'm aware of the shit, but what is happening here? And it's like that. And then it's like, my issue, I know 100% is the, hold up, Aliyah, we're still not done. We're almost done. Okay, give me a couple of more minutes. Go over there. We're almost done. You can go downstairs now. People are awake. Um, it's getting comfortable with being uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, the thing was like, oh, I don't want to feel anxiety. I don't want to fucking feel this. I don't want to feel this fucking things. I don't want to feel depressed. I don't want to fucking do this. Like, I'm just super sensitive to everything, but I got so used to taking that and giving it an extreme fucking feeling, giving it like catastrophizing to the very end of everything that I felt, like I feel, yeah. But I have been doing that a lot more, and it really makes a world of a difference. And when I accept it and I stop rejecting it, like,
Mm-hmm.
you can literally just feel like it just goes like whoop,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just completely like calms, like the nervous system just fucking like just fucking stops like being stressed out, and then it settles a lot by doing the steps that you're talking about. But I have gone into the dark room. I'm like, I go there and explore, and I'm like, here, I'm like, no, la chingada, like, you fucking want to run the other way, like, just peeking at the door, and doing that. But the more that I'm able to just like face the shit, it's more like, oh, okay, this is the reality, this is the thing, this is what's actually happening here. And been able to think more like more logically, and building that upstairs uh, brain for myself, like giving myself the same thing that I would, and also through conversations like you're saying. So yeah, good. The crystals are aligning. From what you're saying and what I'm going through is the same thing. It's a complete joke, by the way. I don't believe in that shit. It's statistical stuff. It's just coincidence. But Norma says it's legit, so I'm just be like, yeah, it's the crystals. I don't want you to start tagging me on that shit. Don't give me no horoscope, no crystals, no shit like that. I just gotta say it as a reminder for that.
Oh my god. You can you can tag me in your crystal post. I there's a part of me that does believe in that. I don't fully understand it, but to me there is a connection to just anything natural, whether it's a rock, whether it's a plant, whether it's whatever. Anyway, but I lost my train of thought now. I the crystals.
You were
Oh,
just you were
feel
just
like
explaining the process of the 7 steps of fucking going into the
yes,
how you
yes.
process that.
Um. Oh, I was gonna share an anecdote of um how we sit here and we talk about this and we're like, yeah, just sit with it, just sit with it, just sit with it, and acknowledging that that is a very difficult process, even as somebody who is a therapist who has done the work. It's extremely hard to go back into that. Yesterday, I had a conflict, an altercation, a fight with somebody I care for a lot. And I was telling them, I'm like, I don't want to beef with you. And they were like, I'm not beefing. And I'm like, but there is, after we fought, like there was no resolution or repair. And they're I don't like I don't know what you're talking about. Like I don't need that. Like if you need it, like okay, cool. Like I don't know what you want to hear from me. But I'm just like, oh my god. And this whole time I'm like, my body's like tense. My feet are like, I'm like just going like that. How do you call this? like just pressing them into the ground.
Mhm.
And my hand is like in a fist, like I'm just like clenching my whole body, and I noticed that. And I'm telling them like, but I want us, I need us to know that we're okay. And they're like, but I was fine. I'm like, okay. And I was just like, I could feel my body of like, they weren't meeting me. And I had to go. I had to go because I had to do stuff, but I was like, hey, I gotta go. They're like, all right, cool. Like, have a good one, right? And they're chilling. They're chilling. I walk out that door and I just start bawling, bawling. And I'm like, and like a lot of like the first questions that come about is like, what am I doing wrong? What am I not doing enough of? Why is it so hard for me to relate to this person? Like, why can I meet them? Why can I connect with them? Right? Like, so a lot of like the inner critic, I call her Regina George, was coming in. Like Regina George was like, you're doing it wrong. You're not doing enough. Like you're not explaining yourself. You're asking for too much. And I'm driving a lot of the times for me, how I process stuff is by me talking it out. That's how I need to regulate my nervous system. So then I phone a friend. I use a lifeline, and I'm like, why does this person trigger me so much? Like, why can I relate to them? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I need to be better, and I like all of these things, right? And as I'm talking about it, I I am bawling. I am bawling, and I'm like, it's so hard because to them, like whatever we beefed, and now it's like, all right, cool. Now we need to just be okay. And I'm like, and I can't do that. I can't, I need repair. I need to know that we're okay. And as I, and I just, and it just came out. I'm like, it reminds me when my dad would beat my ass. And I just had to, like, I had to go to my room by myself, cry. And then later it was like, come to dinner, ven a comer. And it needed to be okay. Everything needed to be okay. So that limbo from there being conflict or from me being kicking my ass, something I did wrong, to us being okay, that means me being alone, me sitting with that, me not knowing how to interact with my dad. Like, do I say something? Do I not say something? Right. And how this person reminds me so much of my dad, and how there is so much like emotional lack of emotional safety, that I'm like, holy shit, this is why I have such a hard time relating to this person, because they remind me of my dad. Like they remind me of my dad being mad at me, and then them letting me know, you fucked this up, so I'm gonna let you have it. And now I have to sit in this discomfort of like, I don't know if I should talk to you, if I should not, like, how do I? So it is my body. When I specifically with this person, I was asking them like, okay, I did something to upset you. What do you need from me? And they're like, what are you talking about? I don't need anything. And I'm like, but how do I know we're okay? And they're like, I was okay. And granted, they also have some work to do with, like, I don't even think that they recognize they need repair, because that's something that they weren't giving either. Right. But this sense of, because one of the things they even mentioned was like, you bring in your work into relationships. And I'm like, ooh, that felt like a motherfucking jab of like, why are you bringing work in here? Right. When I'm like, what do you need? Like, how can I repair? And they're like, you're not working right now. And I'm like, oh, this doesn't work. This is how you're supposed to repair conflict. But even in that, right, of like, even me sitting with that discomfort of, or me believing them that they don't necessarily need repair, that we can just be okay. And I was pushing them to be like, no, 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 no. Like, but tell me we're fine. Tell me we're fine. Like, I was looking to them to, which is also fair. Co-regulation is okay, but I was almost expecting them to come and calm my nervous system down, and that's something that I still struggle with. I still struggle with for sure. Um, and I don't want to sit with it. I just want it to be okay, right? And I remember telling myself or telling my friend, I'm like, I fucking hate this. I fucking hate how much I feel. I hate feeling this deeply. I hate it. This is such a small thing. Why am I like I just started like bashing myself for it. Um and they're like, no, it's okay for you to feel deeply. It's okay for you to feel all these things. It's um so all of that to say that even if I am sitting here as a person that knows how to do these things, it's not easy to do it. There are times where I'm still like, I don't want to feel this pain. I just want it to go away. I don't want to feel it. Because it's really hard. It's really hard to sit in that and yeah, that's it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Hmm. Yeah, it is. It is gonna be like it's a lifelong journey. It's a
Yeah.
lifelong journey, and it's something to understand. And also was tough as fuck for me to get when I didn't want to feel anxiety. Right when like the therapist is like, yeah, anxiety is good and it's there to protect you, and you're never gonna like completely make it disappear because it's a vital thing for you. I was like, oh my fucking god, you're telling me it's gonna be like this forever? So it was like hard to accept then, but then it's like, oh yeah, now you make peace with it and you understand that like, yeah, that's true. It does play its role and it gives you some kind of awareness to maybe something that I need to work on or something that's going on. And yeah, I'm okay. I'm able to process it. And I think that's the thing still to remember, even what what it is that I'm going through now is just like, oh yeah, the shit is gonna come up, and it's normal. It's just how you process it, and it's a testament to what I told Celia 2 days ago or yesterday. It was like, yeah, I feel fucking amazing, but I'm so hard on myself, and like like I told you before, it's like I know the end. I know what the end goal is supposed to look like, and I'm like, you're not there yet. You're not there yet. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, work harder, work harder. You're not there yet. You're not there yet. And it's like, nah, like, I don't applaud enough the shit that I'm already doing and the process and how much better I feel at whatever it is and whatever's happening in my life and how I process everything. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe that's for another episode of like the shit that we need to do again. Cause I know we did it at some point. Remember when I was like, let's talk about all the good shit that's coming from this, just so that, because it's always about what we're fixing, what we're fixing, what we're fixing, but it's harder to celebrate what it is that we're doing good. So
Yeah.
maybe we can do like an episode on the beautiful things about the Latino community and the beautiful things about all of that, how
Yeah.
we do show up for ourselves in the ways and find the good things about it, because I think it's also cool to kind of have that.
I bet.
But yeah,
Let me
I mean,
down on
and
that episode.
I often think about like, because I pay attention to how many views we get in the comments and all that stuff, and how many people I think that actually watch us don't say anything. But it's because I think to myself, like when I was going through all the anxiety and like having all that pain and I wanting to deal with it, like the word anxiety would trigger anxiety. The fucking book, I had the book right there for CBT, the workbook, in my house. And to be like, I don't want to deal with this shit. I don't want to talk about, why the fuck would I open the book that's gonna force me to think about this shit again? Um, so even clicking on the podcast might give you some kind of, would be too much or whatever, but just work on it little by little, at the same time, just giving yourself that grace like I've done for myself, and be like, no, mamas, you've been through hella shit, motherfucker. You've been through so much shit, and look at what you're doing. Look at what you're attempting to do. Look at what you're healing. Look at the outcome with your wife, with your family, with your
Yeah.
fucking kids. Like, look at all the shit that you're doing already. You fucking want to get there, and maybe you never get there, but look at the shit that you already did. Look at what you're working on, and look at what you have accomplished already.
Yeah.
But it's hard, and it's hard. And one of the main things I'll share with you about that book, that I think maybe I haven't given it enough credit for how impactful it was in my life and how much it changed. It was
Mhm.
that quote that said, like, some kind of quote about being brave and understanding with panic attacks that the smaller I made my comfort zone, the worse it was gonna get, and I had to be brave to change it. And this, now that I'm thinking about it, that direct quote, and you telling me, "Hey, motherfucker, you gotta let us in." You get me? Like it just understands and be like, "Okay, this is oh shit, yeah, this is what I gotta do.
Mhm.
Go for it." And then I just
Yeah.
fucking go for it and understand that part of it, you know. So it's about being brave, you know, being brave. I heard another quote too that was like, um, it was about something the success, but I don't want to see fuck success. Um, the life you want is in the other side of your fears, right? Like the life you want is in the other side of the work that you're not willing to do, you know. So how important it is in that, and how important it is to yes, it fucking sucks and it's hard as shit to feel all of our pain, to feel all of our traumas, to go back in there, but gotta be brave and you gotta do this shit. And often when I start to doubt myself and I'm like, this shit's never gonna change, and your fucking brain's gonna think like this all the time, and you're always gonna feel scared. I'm like, nah, fuck you. I know neuroplasticity. Like I counter my thoughts. It's like I know neuroplasticity is a thing. I already done so much. I just gotta be patient, and shit's gonna continue to grow and continue to regulate it, continue to show up, and your brain chemistry is already fucking changing. And I know that it is already just based on how I feel. So I was like, hey, that calm down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like yesterday, I told Sally like 2 days ago, it was hella funny because I'm talking a lot, but it still has to do what we're talking about. I'm sitting here. I think I was playing video games, some shit, and then it just went like my nervous system went off the fucking rails. Like it just went to like, nah, fuck you. You should fucking hurt yourself. This and that. Like shit's not gonna better. And I literally was like, wait, hey, chill. We're all right. Chill. And then it was just like that quickly as it went to the fucking end of the world. I was just like, wait, what the fuck is? I said, hey, relax, fool. Like
Yeah.
fucking chill. We're good. Hey, one step at a time thing. Like it's
Yeah.
just it's something that I get excited about because I never fucking done it like to the degree that I'm doing it now constantly. And it's like, oh yeah, this shit works. So
I know. I know. It's hard being in it is hard, but
mhm,
um, once you actually process it, and like you start practicing it like on the daily, honestly, like it does get better. It gets better where um you're able to recognize like, okay, something is happening, something is off.
yeah,
um let me do something with it. And when you do, it's not going to linger for as long as maybe it's been it's been in the past. But um yeah. So,
mhm.
and to, I guess, challenge you a little bit when you're saying like, I know my end goal. Like I know my end goal of like, what is your end goal? Why do you have to have an end goal?
Yeah. Well, I just mean like when it comes to the Buddhist stuff of like getting to nirvana, right? Like getting to peace, getting to that, and I think every step of the way in my healing leads me to getting to feeling more and more peaceful and getting to the point of being so at peace with myself that the outside world doesn't really affect me, and like just healing. I know that the at the end of the road, whether I achieve it in my lifetime or whenever the fuck it happens in the future, it's a place where it's just I have worked on a lot of shit, and I know what I want to aim for, and I have a goal that I want to achieve. People often talk about like I had a friend of a turn yesterday be like, yeah, but like you're telling me not to work as hard. What the fuck am I gonna do? Life is fucking boring. And I was like, "Nigga, like there's hella shit for you to work on. Like the financial success is like one tiny little thing. Like my
Mm-hmm.
end goal is just continue to feel more and more at peace and more understanding of myself in that. But I hold myself to such a high standard that I shit on myself for not being there. So accepting it. And like when we had Pablo in the podcast saying, like, yeah, that's not where you're at, and honor that shit. Like be okay with that. That's where you're at. You know where you have to be there. You know not where I have to be, but what you're aiming at. But be okay and not trying to pretend, so that I then humble myself enough to be like, oh yeah, I still got a lot of. It's like I still got work to do. Um, but I've done so much, and I should be happy with where I'm at, anyways.
And I mean, obviously, like, I don't know a lot of like Buddhist teachings, right? But when you're saying that I can be so much at peace that the like nirvana that or like the outside doesn't bother me, I don't know that I don't know if that's a teaching, but
Hmm.
you saying I'm like, I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, right? Because I think that might be even like a myth. This part of
Yeah.
healing means that we're not going to feel pain or we're not going to be
Hmm.
affected, that we're just going to be in so much peace that nothing faces me. And I'm like, well, no.
No, no.
I
It's the
think for
second
me,
arrow thing. It's the second arrow. Like there's always going to be the suffering, but what I do with that and how much I can be at peace with that part of it, not add the second part, because most of it is the second part that we add to. So it's getting to the point that I'm at peace within the suffering. You get me?
okay,
Like I
yeah,
become kind of detached where I'm able to feel the suffering without let it become me and get overwhelmed and give me all this second arrows and all this extra suffering, because suffering is inevitable. And no matter what point of my life, there's going to be suffering, but it's being okay with that suffering,
okay,
understanding that part of it. That's what, like I say, what I mean by say I'm aiming towards that, where like not every little trigger has me on a downward fucking spiral. You get me? Where I'm able to just be like, oh, this is here. Okay, cool. I'm at the part of my life where like there's pain. I'm sick physically, something's happening in the world, this and that. Like that's where I'm at. Okay, this is where I'm at. What can I do about it? What can I do about it? So that I
okay,
don't spiral and go to that. Like that's what I meant.
okay. Just want to
Yeah.
make sure we're not talking about like I don't want to feel pain anymore. I'm
No,
like,
no, no, no.
ah!
No, no, no. Like
Mm,
that's a no. Like the very first page of the teaching says like you're not gonna avoid that shit no matter what the fuck no matter what you do. Like that's part of life and part of existence. But I mean just being okay with that
yeah,
and that.
and pain means that you're human, right? It's not
Mhm.
you're not weak. Um, it's just part of life, and it's just having tools to actually confront it.
Yeah.
Um, right? Of like, oh, if I allow myself to feel this pain, then I'm just gonna go in this downward spiral, and I'm gonna be destroyed. Like that's not necessarily true.
Mhm.
Um, the pain already, for most of us, lives there, so it's just by feeling it, we're trying to free it. Um, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just being aware of that.
Yeah.
And, yeah, go ahead.
Um One thing that I remember hearing from somebody just said just do whatever the do the opposite of what the main culture is, what the
Mhm.
main thought process is, and you'll pretty much be safe. So
Yeah,
if the main shit that society in the world is telling you, oh, be brave, don't talk, like don't be weak and show emotions and do that, do the opposite, do the fucking complete opposite. Whatever
mm,
the fuck they're trying to show you is the opposite is the key to it. And
yeah,
it's gonna be hard, and you're trying to undo a lifetime of this belief that feeling pain and crying and feeling that it's fucking makes you weak, but in reality that's what makes you the bravest you
yeah,
know
yeah,
because everybody else that hides it is the weakest. Put it like this: it's so weak, it's so weakening, if that's even a fucking word. It's so painful to your body and it's bad for you to hide your pain that, again, we already talked about this, you will fucking die younger from all the pain that you're holding within. It's making you that fucking weak. It's
yes,
making you that fucked up that you are holding in all this fucking pain and all this. It'll literally affect you, your body, your nervous system, your physical body. It's all connected, your mind and everything. And if you don't address that, your body's literally suffering on the daily and will
yes.
continue to suffer from not feeling that pain.
Mhm. If you have IBS, if you have
Anything.
colitis, if you have high
Mhm.
blood pressure, if you have
Diabetes.
diabetes, all of
Mhm.
those things are deeply connected to emotions,
Mhm.
deeply connected to pain. So pay attention to that.
Yep.
So when we sit
Absolutely.
with it, we become healthier, we become less reactive, dealing with conflict is easier. Um, you connect with people, you connect with your inner child. So once we sit with pain, that pain becomes a strength, it becomes wisdom, it becomes your guide. Um, distress, connection comes from distress. you become more connected. So do it. Feel the pain. Anything
Pain.
else you want to add?
Watch the Naruto pain arc. That's like the last advice.
Cool.
Yep. All right. I got to get you to that eventually, but you don't watch TV. But yeah. All right. You got to let go in order to grow. See you guys later. Love you guys. Bye. Peace.
Bye.